Welcome to Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and podcast. We hope that by the end of our show, you're left feeling empowered, motivated, and connected. So come on in the room, grab your favorite drink, sit back, and enjoy the ride because you're finally at home at Kiva's Place. Now give it up for our host and producer, Coach Kiva Lernice Murdoch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and podcast, where we have authentic conversations in an atmosphere that feels like home. I'm so excited to just be here with you tonight. We have a lot going on. I know I haven't been live in a couple shows because I've been kind of working behind the scenes, but nevertheless, we have quite a few things spearing up, really, within Kiva's Place and the whole KLM Enterprises. So again, welcome. If you are joining us for the very first time, I am Coach Kiva Lernice Murdoch. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a brand strategist. I'm a speaker. I'm a facilitator. I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. And I help those recognize and overcome inhibitors that are keeping them stagnant and to get them from a place of being stuck to accomplish. So again, welcome. So tonight we are going to be kicking off a series. Okay. If you were just joining us for the first time, we are launching a anthology project called Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. So to precede that anthology, we're going to be having a series and we're going to be bringing on various guests that are going to be talking about how they were able to maintain and remain imperfectly fierce and focused throughout life challenges in their businesses, personal endeavors, anything such as that, struggles. We want to know what they do in order to persevere through those circumstances and situations and still remain imperfectly fierce and focused. So tonight we have a very special guest tonight. Tonight my guest is Ebony Mobley. She is the current reigning Mrs. Columbia Plus America 2023. And we're going to talk to her tonight about how she remains imperfectly fierce and focused while living with diabetes. She works and serves our community by bringing awareness about diabetes, and she is married. She's a mother of two beautiful girls, and she also works in the community in the housing sector. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring her to the stage. So welcome, Miss Ebony. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How are you? Or how is everyone?
I am good, and I'm so excited to have you. And I didn't mention she is also one of my sister queens in the Miss Plus America pageant. So I did not mention that. So I definitely wanted to throw that out there that she's not just any guest. She's one of my sister queens. She's another delegate. So I'm super excited to have her.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, sister.
You're so welcome. Now, what I did not mention, Ebony, is that you are also a military brat. Tell me a little bit about that experience before we dive into why you are imperfectly fierce and focused.
My dad served over 20 years in the United States Army. So I actually was born here in Columbia, but I was born on the military base of Fort Jackson. So anyone that's from Columbia knows Fort Jackson is, it's kind of near downtown, more on the southeast side of town. I grew up off of Leesburg Road, and went to the Richland County schools and stuff. But yes, I was born on the military base. My dad was in the military. My mom and dad actually lived in Germany right before I was born.
Oh, did you get to travel much?
No, not really. A little bit. We were only in Texas, and then kind of my dad was just kind of here on the military base, and then of course my parents divorced, and then he retired. So I didn't travel as much as probably most military brats, but I definitely grew up kind of not on Fort Jackson, but near there. So I had many friends and classmates, and commissary, PX, shop at, all those things that you can do as a military person. I'm so used to that. First job was actually at the commissary as a bagger.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Now, let's talk a little bit about your current reign. Now, you are no stranger to the Miss Plus America pageant system, correct?
Well, I actually was in another pageant back in
Okay.
2021. So this would be my second pageant. And I love just pageantry just all around. Just the sisterhood of it, meeting new people, learning new things. And the competition, it is a competition, but it's not all about the crown. You have to be passionate about your platform and your community. It's just not the crown. The crown is a good plus to it, but it's not all about the crown. It's
Yeah,
not all about the crown.
I must
So if
agree.
you are just looking for the crown, pageantry is not really for you.
Hmm.
It's just a
Perfectly.
bonus. It's a bonus. There's nothing wrong with winning, but it's not all what pageantry is about.
That's right. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I tell people all the time, it's about the message. It's about the
Yes.
message behind it. Of
Yes.
course, everyone wants to win, but it's truly it's about heart service, right? And
Yes.
if you're representing a cause that you truly believe in, then everything else will just come secondary anyway.
Exactly.
Which actually brings me to my
Exactly.
next point. So your platform is to talk about diabetes. So I want you to give me a little bit of a backstory why this platform is so near and dear to you.
Well, first and foremost, I experienced two of the worst parts of my life that happened to me. And that's the year 2000, where I lost my mother due to complications of diabetes. She actually died of a blood clot in her lung at the age of 47. And I will actually be 47 in 2 months. Um, Another year that really was the worst year of my life was 2014, where I lost my dad to complications of diabetes by heart disease. So that impacts me the most because other than my children and my husband, I lost two of the most important people in my life, other than my children and my husband. I also was diagnosed with diabetes in 2006. Did not know I had diabetes. I was actually pre-diagnosed, like that pre-diabetic, when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, Anaya, in 1999. But of course, I let my weight get out of control, did not exercise, did not eat, gained over 125 pounds after the doctor told me I was pre-diabetic. Still didn't do anything. So I went from 1999 to 2006. I was out at the flea market one day and I just fell out. And the next thing I knew, I was in Lexington Hospital and my sugar was over 700. So I could
Mm.
have died myself. So going through years of having the disease, getting sick, some days are good, some days are bad. I have to take insulin twice a day. I'm also on another diabetic medicine. Some days are good, some days are bad. But what I like to try to teach and educate people is you have to watch what you eat, try to maintain your weight. I know it's hard. Take your medicine, go to the doctor, because a lot of people do not like to go to the doctor. You have to check your blood sugar multiple times a day. And I just try to educate people, especially people that just found out they had diabetes, on what they need to do to live. Um, my parents worked a lot, and I feel like they neglected their health. And then when it was too late, it was too late. And there was nothing the damage was already done. I don't want my daughters to feel the pain that I had to feel at the age of 24 and at the age of 30. I think I was 37 or 38 when I lost my dad. So I try to live the best I can, take my medicine, go to my regular doctor's appointments, and just try to educate myself on diabetes and anyone else that listens. I'm just like the mama of diabetes. Like if I find out your sugar is high, I'm just going in. I'm like, let me check your sugar. Did you take your medicine? When is the last time you went to the doctor? It's like crazy. That should be my job. I should not be working as a community manager. I should be working as like, I should have went to medical school or something. So I'm just so advocate about diabetes. You can have a decent, healthy life with diabetes. You just have to know what to do, constantly educate yourself, et cetera, and try to educate just yourself and the community. And that's really what I want to do. and I'm going to do it. And I'm trying to do it.
I love that. And what I'm hearing from you is that you are what I like to call an accountability coach for
Mm-hmm.
diabetes. And it's important to have somebody who is going to, because it's such a serious disease and is known as the silent killer.
It
For
is.
that reason, many people have it and they live with this disease every day without any symptoms. And then all of a sudden, bam, your
Exactly.
organs start to shut down. You are literally dying within your body. But I wanted to mention a few statistics before we go into how you are living in perfectly fierce and focused with diabetes. So let's drop some statistics. In 2019, listen to these numbers. 37.3 million Americans, which is 11.3% of the population. These are Americans. This is not global. This is right here within the United States. 37.3 million Americans had diabetes in 2019. Nearly 1.9 of those million Americans have type 1 diabetes. So there's a difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
28.7%, 28.7 million people were diagnosed, and out of that, 8.5 million people were undiagnosed. And that's what we were just talking about. Almost 9 million people had diabetes in 2019 and were never diagnosed.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's alarming.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And
I believe I had diabetes in 99 when I became pregnant with my oldest daughter, Anaya. And I just did not follow back up with it. And I went 7 years with a young daughter, working and taking care of her, diabetic. And then I just got a wake up call in 2006 that, hey, you need to get your life together and you need to not let this disease defeat you. I had to wake up. That falling out was a wake up call for me.
Mhm.
They say God sends signs to you, and yes, our Lord and Jesus Savior definitely sent a sign to me in 2006. I had to, and I had a doctor right after that that said, if you want to see your daughter graduate from high school, then you need to get your act together. Sometimes you have to have that straight up person to tell you. I love no one more than a blunt person. And don't sugarcoat anything. And he didn't. And he told me, if you want to see your daughter graduate from high school, then you need to get your act together. So when my daughter graduated in August of 2017, it was tears of joy, but it was tears of rejoice as well, because I was there to see my precious baby walk across that stage.
Yes, and the outcome could have been so different.
Like I said,
And there's a myth, there are some people that believe that diabetes are only in a certain culture, but let's be clear,
mm-hmm.
diabetes affects every culture. But as
Yes,
African Americans, you have to be extra vigilant because we do hold some of the more higher numbers and stats for having and living with diabetes.
exactly. Exactly.
So I wanted to ask you, because before we dive into the other part of our discussion, I heard you mention, because I believe in dealing with a disease such as this, you need to have a team. You need to have
Mm-hmm.
a support system, right?
Yes.
If you had to name individuals that should be in your circle or in your support system, who would you advise a newly diabetic to have in their inner circles?
Definitely their family. Well, God first. Nothing is possible without him. So God has brought me through so much. So God is number one. Number two, family. So that means husband, significant other, children, whether they're the older or the younger. Third, your church, your community, your job family. Where I work at, it's like a job. It's like my family away from my home.
Mhm.
And also a good doctor. You have to have that doctor in your circle. Some people mentally is not prepared for diseases like terminal diseases like diabetes. So if it's the, and when I say doctor, it doesn't have to be a doctor that specializes in diabetes. It could be a therapist, someone you need to talk to, etc., etc., a dietitian if you need that. All of that needs to be in your inner circle to defeat this disease.
I love that. And I love that you broke the physicians down, because a lot of people just hearing primary care physician. And I do apologize. For some reason, my internet is going in and out. But
I thought
nevertheless,
it was my internet. I was about to say, huh?
it is over here. I'm not sure what's going on. It's been cloudy and raining, but
Yes.
listen, the show still must go on. So listen, and we are live. So like I tell people all the time, honey, this is not pre-recorded. We are live. So technical stuff happened. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, the show must still go on. But I am so glad that you broke down the different physicians, and not let's not also forget your podiatrist,
Yes.
because most people, when they have diabetes, they start to lose sensation in their lower extremities. So you
Yes.
want to make sure that you do also include in your care team your podiatrist, because foot care is very important as well.
Yes. Yes.
So, Miss Ebony, tell me, we just talked a lot about diabetes, but what I want to hear is, honey, how do you live imperfectly fierce and focused while living with diabetes?
Loving myself and um being confident in who I am, trusting in God. All of that makes me fierce. I know I'm fierce. I don't call myself conceited or just stuck up, but I know I am beautiful on the inside and out. I do it every day. I help people in my job, in the community, however I can help someone. My job is really like I really help people. Like people don't get it. When you're in the housing industry, you are helping someone. And that makes me fierce. When I give someone keys to their new unit, their new apartment, or their new home, that's just me saying, I just be like, girl, I got it going on. I just provided somewhere for someone to live, because you never know anyone's situation or walk of life. And all of that just makes me fierce. And I just love myself, and I just love, I'm just a lovable person. Anybody that sits down and talks to me for 5 minutes knows that there's no evil in me at all. Even when I feel like I have a bad mood, I still walking around smiling. People can never know if I'm upset or I'm not upset, because I always have a smile on my face. I'm always saying a joke. I'm always trying to make the mood, even if the mood is bad. Miss Thing here gonna turn it all the way around and move it from a negative to a positive, like, because that's just Ebony.
I love it. And I love the fact that and this is why we are doing this anthology project, Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. And that's why it was so important for me to do this initiative, which is bring everyday people who are living and dealing with everyday issues, everyday struggles, everyday health issues, and talk about how they're able to persevere, how they're able to conquer, how they're able to, remain authentic to who they are, how they're able to, get beyond them and look at the bigger picture. How can I bless and help other people? And that's the whole premise around this book anthology, Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. So we are still looking for co-authors in this book project who can do the same thing that Ebony just did, able to share, able to leave lasting nuggets, lasting resources, lasting encouraging words to help elevate and lift the next person up. So towards the inner part of our broadcast, I'm going to drop information on how you can be a part of this anthology project, Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. Because just like what Ebony says, we just dropped the statistics. We know what she is dealing with and living with it, but honey, she is still fierce and she is still focused and she is still doing and being about not only her business, but God's business. And that's why I'm so honored to have you here on Kiva's Place doing this show with me tonight.
It's an honor. It is. It is an honor. I'm so passionate about my platform and just the disease, period. Like I said, I'm just so passionate. There could have been no other platform. That there are other things that I try to address and I have passion for, but the diabetes is definitely it. Like, it's not going to go away. It's statistics show you really don't like cure. There's really not a cure for diabetes. You can let your sugar can go down and your numbers and stuff can go down, but you always are going to have that. Just your body's not going to produce that insulin. Like, it's just almost like you have it until the end of your life. I've never heard of anyone that has got cured from diabetes. If someone has ever got cured from diabetes, please reach out to me and let me know, what did you do?
Now, I don't know if cure is the right word, but I have heard the term they have gotten it managed or have gotten it under control. Right. And they're always to do that, and like you just said, there are things that we can do depending on the type of diabetes that you do have, like
Yes.
diet, like exercising. If you're smoking, quitting smoking, making sure we are eating right, keeping our stress levels down, making sure you're
Yes.
resting, right? Especially
Yes.
those of us who are constantly busy, we don't take care of ourselves. And it's not selfish for you to put yourself first, because if you're not putting yourself first, and what I mean by that is you got to take care of you before you can take care of somebody else.
Exactly. Exactly. And you have to get that rest. And Lord knows my life is busy. I mean, look, Kiva, if I could just break it down, I am almost 47 years old with a 7-year-old. Need I say anymore? My job is a lot. I'm a wife. I try to work in the community. I volunteer in my church. I'm in a pageant. So it's just a list of stuff. But Ebony is going to get her rest on a daily basis. Like, when the day is over, the day is just over.
That's right.
Phones go on do not disturb, and that's it.
It's necessary. I want to ask you, what advice would you give somebody who is struggling with living with diabetes? Like, give me a couple of nuggets that they can do with living with diabetes, but still yet able to remain imperfectly fierce and focused.
The first thing I would tell that person is to pray on a daily basis. Even if you just pray one time a day, you need to pray. That's the first thing that I would tell them to do. The second thing that I would tell them to do, make sure that they educate themselves on the disease so they know how to tackle and battle that disease. You have to know the numbers. You have to know what a normal blood sugar is, what a high blood sugar is, the symptoms of diabetes. A lot of people don't even know what the symptoms are. I just had this conversation with a good friend of mine, and I'm not going to bring her out because she might be looking at this right now. She told me stuff that sounds like she has diabetes. And I told her, I said, hey, I'm not a doctor, but I've lived with this disease for over 15 years. Go get yourself checked out. And that's the third thing I probably would say. Go get yourself checked out. If you don't know, you haven't gotten a diagnosis, or you might have gotten a diagnosis, make sure that you stay in the know with your doctor and with the symptoms, and just educate yourself. But first and foremost, definitely pray, because that is definitely needed.
Amen to that. I love it. Listen, if you are looking for more information about diabetes, you can visit the American Diabetes Association. You can go to www.diabetes.org. Again, that's www.diabetes.org. Like Ebony just said, arm yourself with information. Do not take this disease lightly. It's very serious. And like we said at the top of the show, It's known as one of the silent killers. So
Yes.
definitely take this disease very seriously. And you
Yeah.
can go to diabetes.org for more information, or you can get in contact with the reigning Mrs. Columbia Plus America. She knows her stuff about diabetes. So we're going to go ahead and drop your contact information, Ebony. If you want to connect with her, you can find her on Facebook. Just look her up by her name, Ebony Jones Mobley. Again, that's Ebony Jones Mobley. You can also connect with her fan page, Mrs. Columbia Plus America 2023. Again, that's Mrs. MRS Columbia Plus America 2023. And I want to shout out our other sister queens who are watching us. We appreciate you being here, Sharita Williams. Hi, girl.
Hey, Sharita.
Thank you so much for watching and engaging. And Miss Janice Dixon Hartwell. Hi, Janice.
Hey, sis.
Miss Janice is also another delegate in our Mrs. category. So for 2023. So we are excited that she is on with us as well. So thank you, Queens, for your support and your love. We greatly appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, Miss Ebony. So listen, I'm going to allow you any final words. You have covered a lot. You have dropped a lot of gems. You have let us know how, honey, in dealing with diabetes, how you remain imperfectly fierce and focused. So I'm going to allow this opportunity for you to leave any final words, any last thoughts. The floor is yours.
My final words is I just want to let everybody know that it's a hard disease. It's a tough disease, but I don't let it defeat me. If there is anyone on here that wants any more information about diabetes, of course, go to the American Diabetes Association website. You can just put that in the Google search bar and find out the numbers if you need that. If you do find out you have diabetes or anything and you want a shoulder to lean on or you need to let some stuff out, you got all my contact information. She just put it on there. I don't care if we are strangers. I talk to anyone, especially when it comes to something that I'm so passionate about, like this disease. So if you want to reach out to me, whether it's commenting on my page or inboxing me on either one of those pages that she said, don't let it stop you. Because in the first 5 minutes, we'll probably be exchanging phone numbers. So that's it. That's the only thing and just continue to pray every day and make sure that God is in your life.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. You have dropped a lot of gems. So again, if you're wanting to reach out to Ebony, you can find her at Mrs. Columbia Plus America 2023 or on her personal page, Ebony Jones Mobley. So thank you so much. Hang tight. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed our broadcast today and learning more about the reigning Mrs. Columbia Plus America 2023 and how she lives imperfectly fierce and focused while living with diabetes. So, like I stated earlier, in our show, we still have some opportunities for you to share your story the same way how Ebony just did. You have an opportunity to put your story in the form of an anthology project, in the form of a book, to leave a lasting legacy on print so that it's around forever and ever. Amen. Once it's there and published, it's always there and nobody can ever take that from you. And guess what? Somebody needs to hear your story. Somebody needs to know the struggles that you have gone through. Somebody needs to know what they can do in order to be better, to live better, to love better, be better in our businesses, be better leaders within our community. I'm a firm believer, and I say it almost every Thursday night. What you go through is not just for you. It's always a bigger picture. It's always, a bigger why, right? So if you want to be a part of this anthology project, Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, this is the time right now for you to jump on board. We are just getting everything organized. We are solidifying authors. We are, just getting things in place so that we can hit the ground running within the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to tell you how you can do that. You can just go to www, let me find my slide, tinyurl.com/IFF, and that stands for Imperfectly Fierce and Focused -inquiry. Again, that's tinyurl.com/IFF-inquiry. Fill out that quick registration form. It will take you just a quick second, and we will get right back in contact with you with all of the information that you need to be a contributing co-author in Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. This is your time. There is no excuse. You need to get your story out there, and we have the avenue and the vehicle for you to do just that. So go ahead and register. Don't wait. Go to www.tinyurl.com/IFF-inquiry. All right, so before I close, I just wanted to make sure that we have all of our commenters. Janice Dixon Hartwood said, hey, my sisters. Hey, Queen. She says, I love this. I appreciate you so much. And Queen Sharita says, amen, sis. Yes, ma'am. We have to get our voices out there, right? And even if you're scared, do it scared. Just jump. Trust the process. Trust that God has already ordained your steps. He's already ordained this very moment. So even if you are afraid, and we love and embrace new writers. If you've never written before, that's fine. I just finished an anthology project where it was my first anthology project. And guess what? We went #1 bestseller. So this is a great opportunity for you to just jump in, get some experience under your belt. And who knows, you might be leading your own anthology project. So don't delay. Do not delay. This is your time. And I'm a firm believer that this is your moment. So come on aboard. Come on aboard. Next week, we will have another part of our series where we're going to bring someone else on the show, and they're going to share their experiences of what they're going through and how they're doing it, living Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. So we're going to have several more weeks and several more guests. So come right back next Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to do it all over again. So until next time, continue to share, connect, and glow, because building your network also builds your net worth. So until next Thursday night, peace and blessings. I love you much. Stay safe. Good night.
Thank you for watching Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and Podcast. Tune in every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Kiva's Place. To be a guest on our show, text the word guest to 803-368-3030 or visit us at tinyurl.com/Kiva's-Place-Book. And watch us on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire as we're broadcasting in more than 60 million homes worldwide.